Okay, so I'm at the store at Rayleigh's, and right now I am in the grocery store looking at some labels of the products that we purchase at a grocery store. By law, the grocery store is required to have labels on every product that we purchase at the store. So I'm learning independent living skills and learning how to budget and learning how to buy things at a grocery store is part of independent living skills for people with disabilities and non-disabilities. So where do you look for?
Great. So let's start with our list here. So, probably nothing in this aisle. We're gonna need noodles. All this stuff, celery, pepper, onion, can all be found together, so we'll get all that stuff at the same time. So why don't we start with the noodles, and we'll go look for those.
Certainly.
For egg noodles. So there's some.
Yep.
There's some over here. So let's see. So
The label.
yep. And so you'll get already we're comparing prices. This one is $1.38, whereas this one over here is $2.50.
$2.50.
Yeah, and you know the reason is because this is going to be a national brand.
Yep.
Whereas the Rayleigh's brand or the generic store-bought brand, store brand is usually cheaper.
Yes.
Most of the time, honestly, it's going to be the same item, especially when it comes to things like this. You know, they're going to be very similar. So it's always, I mean, personally, I always think it's good to save your money and then, you know, buy the cheaper one.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, you see this little thing here too. It says buy 3 or more for 99 cents. So if you thought, hey, I have a little extra, few dollars extra. Now I can buy these maybe for next time I make the tuna casserole. I already have them, and you're saving yourself 38 cents on each of the bags. You know. So sometimes it's hard because you might spend a little bit more at the time, but then when it comes down to it, you're saving money in the long run. You know what I mean? Like buying in bulk sometimes can be good. So it just depends. You always want to look at your different options. So yeah, so I mean in this case, obviously that would probably be your best bet here, the 138, because that's going to be a really good deal.
Good deal.
Yeah, so that's what we would get for that. Let's keep going.
Certainly.
So then also while we're in this aisle too, I've done it where I hop around and I'm literally all over the store everywhere, So while we're in this aisle, let's look. So here it says canned fish, so we can go ahead and go look at the tuna over here. That way you're not running all over the store.
Yeah. I like hanging out in the store because I like that they have an upstairs with tables up there.
Yeah. This part over there, the fresh foods and stuff is really nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Here's tuna.
I used to come to this store with my college group and hang out up there 2 years ago when I first joined college.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So that's for people to hang out up there. I wasn't sure if that was for only employees. It's like a lounge thing up there.
Yes, it's a lounge.
Oh, okay, nice. I wasn't sure. I was like, I wonder if this is for employees only. All right.
Tuna.
So, yeah, tuna. Here we go.
There's the tuna.
So we have a lot of options for tuna to go over. So we're gonna need a bigger can because we're gonna be making something big. So that one, $2.79.
Yeah.
But then also you can look at things like this, like a 6-pack. You know what I mean?
This costs more money here.
It does cost more money, but you're also getting 6 cans. So my favorite trick at grocery stores, and not all of them have it, is this little thing here. It says per ounce. So that's per unit basically. So basically you're looking at $6.98 and this is $2.79. What one is a better deal?
Which one is a better deal?
Yeah, so at 23 cents per ounce. That's how much you're paying per ounce, and for this one you're paying 17 cents per ounce. So you might not need all this tuna, but it's always good to look at that because, like I said, sometimes buying more, so you might spend more money on this. You might spend $7 on this instead of having the $2.79, but now you have twice as much or 3 times as much tuna, and you're getting it at a cheaper price overall. So I mean, if you want it, so say you really like to make tuna sandwiches, and you're gonna make this tuna casserole, you think, oh, maybe I'll buy all this too, and it's a better deal, and then I can use these cans of tuna for my tuna sandwiches. Also, things like this, like tuna or like pasta, like we talked about, those things don't really. I mean, they expire in like a long time, like 2021. So you have a few, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not going to go bad. So sometimes it's good to stock up on things like that, you know, if it's going to be a really good deal, like if it's a really good sale. You don't want to do that with like, you know, like cheese, like, oh, I'm buying all this cheese, it's a good deal, but then it's going to go bad if you don't eat it all. You know what I mean? Because that would just be a waste.
That's what I would just do is buy 1 or 2 types of cheese. I probably would go with one.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, definitely. And also sometimes you can buy, they have smaller bags or, you know, bigger things. So, you know, that can be always be a good thing. But sometimes it's always good to just think about it, you know, or try to plan for futures, for instance. So, you know, instead of thinking about like, oh, just this one meal, and we're focusing on getting all these ingredients for this one meal, but like, oh, maybe if I buy this tuna or these noodles, I can make a different recipe later on with it this week, you know. So it's always about using it, because you can always use what you have to, you know. I know a lot of people that will just look in their cabinet or their fridge and find a bunch of things, you know, and put it together and make a meal out of it, you know. So that can be good when you're, you know, if you're short on money or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I know something that's like something I did when I was in college, you know, me and my roommates all were on a budget, you know, and sometimes we just have pasta in there. I'm like, dang, I really have nothing in here, but I'm like, oh cool, I could just make this pasta and something basic, you know, but it's like gonna feed you, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's continue. Those are my favorite soups. They're really good.
Wow.
Do you like soup?
I sure do.
Yeah, this one, I used to work at Boudin, which is kind of like Panera. Have you been to Panera?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's like a soup and sandwich place, you know, and they have really good tomato soup, and this one is really good like that. It's one of my favorite tomato soups.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and from a can you would never think, because usually it's, from a can it's like not as good. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Let's see here. So let's see. So like we talked about some of the things on here, we're gonna probably, your mom might already have at home, you know, like flour, salt and pepper, milk, you know, so those things, like usually those things like basic things like that are going to be already in your pantry, you know. So before we came here, you know, if we were actually going to make the meal, you know, maybe I'd have you check at home, like, oh, see if you have these few things, you know, just to double check, you know, because those are things that most people have in their kitchen if you have, you know, if you cook a lot. So also, I mean, yeah, you want to, oh, go ahead.
Milk is going to be located right here. We're getting closer. I see juice.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I mean, no, we're getting juice for our casserole, obviously. But, you know, juices are really good one, too, because you have so many different brands to look at. It can be really intimidating, you know. You're like, what's the difference with all these, you know? So, it's because, like, sometimes it's hard. Like, okay, this is the Sunnyside Farms that's the wrong brand.
Is that the company that made this orange juice?
Yeah, and Sunnyside Farms is going to be one that's it's like a generic brand for Bailey's. You know, so instead of like Bailey's.
So this one is all the way from Florida?
Yeah, so they're, yeah.
Which city is this in?
I don't know, you can open it and look, they usually have it on there.
Okay. Only in Florida.
Florida's known for having the best ones.
Lake Wales, Florida.
Interesting, never heard of it.
Wow, this tells me delivery trucks deliver them, do they?
Yeah, so they're probably a producer over there, you know, I'm not sure, they might have different, I'm sure that all the oranges and stuff come from Florida. I'm not sure if they have other factories, other places where they make, you know, they ship the oranges and they do it. Could be either one, but that's something we could always look up too, you know. Do you like to research stuff?
Yeah, I like to research which cities and state are they from.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I saw that when I gave you my phone number that day, it said Jackson, and you looked on the map immediately, you know, and I was like, oh, you like wanted to see where it was, and I really like that too. I like to see where places are and, you know, like different places in the nation.
Milk.
Yeah, chocolate. So this is a good thing too. So for milk, you know, if you don't drink milk, you know, say like you don't drink milk ever.
I do drink milk.
You do drink milk. Okay, so then, for instance, if we're gonna get it just for a casserole, you know, you don't need that much, right? So you could always get like a small one if you don't drink milk, but it's $1.98 for that. So it's like, you know, if it's a better price
This-
to get a big one. You know, if you're gonna drink it, then you can, you know, yeah, it's good for you, good for your good calcium.
Bones. What is calcium?
No, it's good for you, and I said calcium. You know, calcium.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what helps you with your bones and stuff, make you stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah, for instance, like if we were buying milk right now for our Junior Castle, you also want to make sure you look at expiration dates too.
Certainly.
So look at how on these ones here, it's only a 2-day difference, but look at this is best by September 4th, and this one's going to be by the 2nd. So usually you want to get the later date, that way you have it for longer, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of times you have to look at them sometimes, but you know, you don't want to buy anything that's going to expire right away. Also, there's different kinds of milk, which can be confusing. You know, you have vitamin D, which is whole milk. You have 2% milk, 1% milk, fat-free milk. You got organic. You know, there's a lot of different options. Do you know what kind of milk you drink at home?
No, I don't look at the labels that much.
Yeah, so that's definitely a very big difference. If you're used to drinking fat-free milk and you try whole milk, like just in a glass, it's like a lot thicker, more creamy, you know. And whereas the fat-free milk is kind of more watery. You know what I mean? Because it's not as much fat content.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't. So you want to make sure you like look and know which one, because you don't want to buy this milk and then be like, oh, I hate this one, I'm not gonna drink it. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's good to look at that and pay attention. Like, but you know what you drink at your house. You'd always ask your mom, like, what kind of milk do we get? You know.
Yep. True.
Okay, let's go with produce. That's always kind of a little bit harder because they do things by the pound instead of having like a set price. You know.
Is this type of milk good for animals to drink?
I think so. I mean, I know people feed like kittens and stuff like milk, you know.
Is it good for puppies?
I don't know. I would probably like research that. I wouldn't say so probably. I know like, usually people just give their puppies like water and stuff, but I'm not positive, you know. But then also there's a lot of other kinds of milks that are like non-dairy, you know, like almond milk and soy milk and stuff like that. I know at home I have almond milk. I like the almond milk.
Yeah.
It's really good. So,
I used to like silk milk when I was a kid, but now as I grew older, I like the real cow milk now.
yeah. The other thing too is organic versus non-organic. You know, and I'm not going to tell you either way which one you should. You know what I mean? If you want to eat organic foods, then that's okay. So like we want to get a red bell pepper. So this one here is regular. It's gonna be $168. Honestly, that's kind of expensive.
That is.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not always. You can find red bell peppers sometimes for cheaper, you know. But
Yeah.
there's only one option basically, or we have the organic ones, but that's gonna be a lot more expensive. $289.
$2.89.
Yeah, so they are grown organically, so it just is like a personal choice or personal preference, you know? And some people, like, even if they're really, like, smart shoppers and they really always buy the cheapest items, you know, maybe they choose to, like, spend that extra money on the organic food because they want to. You know, it's kind of more of a personal choice if people want to eat organic or not. So, I mean, either one, but honestly, with this kind of thing, there's only one option, so it's kind of like you pick one or the other, and that's, you know, there's not as many options as far as, you know, like the pasta or the tuna where we had tons of different brands and stuff. So produce can be a little bit different. It's usually just like how it is, you know, the price it is how it is. It's not really brand names and national brands that you can choose from, you know. So, and then things like celery here.
Celery.
Yeah, so we have like celery here, and then you have some like over here. So it kind of just depends on how much you are going to use. You know, like what we talked about, you don't want to buy things that are going to go bad, you know. So some things though, like I said, are only in this size package, and you're kind of like, well, you gotta either buy it or not buy it. So, and then we have things like peas on here, which we can get peas in the produce aisle. You know, they're gonna be. Oh, we have like some peas over here, but most people will buy like bags of frozen peas. There's a lot of frozen vegetables that you can use for this thing. So as far you said you like to put broccoli in it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so we could look. So this.
There's broccoli. Right?
Yeah, so this is broccoli here. Let's see where's the price for this. I don't know. It could be that one, but well, either way. So this is if you're gonna use this broccoli, you'd have to like cut it and do all this first, florets and stuff, like make it into smaller pieces, which is totally fine. But if you wanted to like an easier option, if you're like you're trying to make it more quickly, you don't want to have to all that work. We have a lot of options in the frozen things, like frozen vegetables. So I'm not sure your mama might put this in it, or she might be putting like the bags of frozen ones. You can just steam them and they're already ready to go.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any cutting or anything. So yeah. And then basically the only other things we didn't really look at besides this were cheese and breadcrumbs.
Okay, cheese. So we could look for that at the dairy.
Yes.
What's cheese made of?
Cheese made of from milk.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I went to a creamery once where they make cheese and it's made from milk, and they like do this whole thing and pasteurize it and go through all this process, and it was really interesting. And they make a lot of cheese. They can make a lot of cheese from goat milk too, like goat cheese.
Goat cheese.
Yeah, that's made from goat milk and other kinds of things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Do you like cheese?
Yeah, I like the orange cheese because it's good for hamburger skirts,
Yeah.
or it's good for egg omelets.
Yeah, it definitely is.
My brother inspired me to have an omelet with cheese in it.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Changes everything. The cheese is really good. Where did we go? Where's the cheese?
Cheese.
No, I'm not sure.
Nope, this is the meat section.
Yeah, this is meat. Oh wait, I think it's over here actually. Something with these giant monsters.
Yeah, I.
So I think it's gonna be.
This is
Not that we needed to come down this aisle, huh?
this is the wrong one.
Yeah, right.
This-
Just passing by.
This is just the beer and wine stuff.
Yeah, that's all. Excuse us.
Just because I'm 21, it doesn't mean I'm interested in drinking. I'm not
Yeah, well,
interested
that's
in
good.
that stuff.
That's good.
Here it is. Well,
So, yeah, we have a lot. This is gonna be like kind of more like fancy cheeses, if that makes sense.
yeah, the regular.
Like artisan kind of cheeses.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is. I mean, they're all really good, but this is gonna be something we're not gonna use for our casserole because it's kind of expensive.
So we're looking for regular cheese.
All right, so it said we needed some Parmesan and some cheddar.
Here we are. This is the regular cheese I was looking for.
Yeah.
Or this. Well, let's compare. So this is $4.99, so that's $5 total.
And that's for 1 pound, right?
Yeah, and this one's $5.
So you will get for Monday only.
Yeah.
And it says 5 each, and it's 2 pounds of cheese.
Yeah.
So see, that's the same price as the 1 pound block.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you'd think, oh, that's a better deal, but you want to make sure too that you're going to be able to eat all that cheese. You know what I mean? If it's just you by yourself in an apartment, you might not go through 2 pounds of cheese quick enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always good to look. So I think for this one we're going to want shredded cheese. So that's the other thing too, is if it's cheaper for us to buy like a block of cheese and shred it ourselves,
Yeah.
or you could look at this and see maybe $2.99 for this already shredded cheese. That way it's already ready for you.
That's true.
Yeah, and so see, like we talked about, Rayleigh's brand is always going to be, not always, every once in a while you'll find one of these brands that has a sale and it'll be cheaper, But yeah, like this is $3.99 on sale. Usually it's $5 for this 5-ounce bag of cheese, which is, I'm not saying it's not good, it's good cheese, but it's like when you're on a budget, it's basically the same thing. So it's like, people like us, like at our age, we would want to maybe like be saving money. So,
Yes.
you know what I mean? For some people, as they get older, they're like, oh, I want to splurge on the fancy cheese, which is okay. But for our purposes, we're going to look at the, cheapest thing. And then also, there's different kinds, like you have like reduced fat or regular, so some people, might want to get like a lower fat cheese if you want to, or, just maybe more of all the options.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have all the sliced cheeses here too. So sometimes that's easier because,
But look, it's a little expensive because
oh, that's expensive.
that's
yeah.
$11.99, $12 total. $12.99, $13 total.
Yeah. See, and that's because that's that children's brand. So this is a good size probably too. I know it's a little bit smaller. That way, like if it's just you eating it, you're not gonna like have all this cheese. Because cheese will get moldy after a while and go bad. So sometimes, for me, like personally, if I'm buying cheese at home, I'll get like the sliced cheeses. Sometimes that way it's already ready to go on like a sandwich or something like that. Yeah. And breadcrumbs are our last thing.
So what's our last thing on the list?
Breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs. Where's
Yeah.
that located?
Can you see that's the hard part too?
Grains.
Probably it might be with like seasonings. Like with like, you know, the different seasonings and maybe like flour and stuff like that, baking stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably. Would it be cool if every grocery store would have a lounge upstairs like this Rayleigh's does?
I know, right? Isn't it cool? Oh, here we go, breadcrumbs.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Breadcrumbs.
So, once again, we can do different ones. This one is $3.49 for 8 ounces.
Expensive.
Yeah, because look at this is 15 ounces.
This
And
one.
it's $2.49. But then looks like this is also 15 ounces for $1.99.
That's cheaper.
So that's the best deal. Yeah. And then like you have traditional, you can do Italian style, or classic panko. So there's a little bit different. This is breadcrumbs. Panko is like the bigger, maybe more crispy on top. You know what I mean? It's a little bit bigger breadcrumbs kind of. So whatever one you'd prefer, you'd pick. You know, because they're all the same price. Yeah, and then this is also where you'd make sure you had like oils and stuff like that. All your seasonings are gonna be down here. I know you probably have seasonings. We'll take a look just to compare.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of these are kind of expensive, you know.
But affordable.
Yeah, so it just depends. I mean, because like, you know, if you think about it, it's a lot of money for just this, but it's like certain things, you know, like these ones over here are going to be a little bit more cheaper. You know, and you want to maybe sure too, like, some recipes might call for certain things that you're never going to use again, you know, which is hard. So it's like, that's why it's good to try to pick things that, you know, you might be able to use again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The seasonings are kind of one of the things about recipes that you don't have to be exactly on, you know what I mean? Like if they say like, oh, a tablespoon of pepper, if you put, you know, a little more than that, it's not gonna like ruin your recipe, you know? And also people have personal preferences, you know, like personally I love pepper on things, you know, but I don't like salt as much, but some people like really salty foods, you know what I mean? So that's what's nice about when you're cooking for yourself, is that you can kind of choose how you wanna, you know, make it taste.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we're finished with our list now. So what else do you want to look at in here? Anything else you want to look at?
That's all I could think of for tuna casserole.
Okay. We want to look at the meat and see what,
Sure.
yeah, and just kind of look at that because you're interested in making steaks.
Oh yeah.
Because that's going to be kind of something tough too, because there's a lot of different cuts of meat. You know, but you know what? The best thing too is if you're ever confused, is they have people that work in, you know, the butcher, the guy who works in the meat department. You know, they're always a good person to ask because they're an expert. You know, even like more than me. I sometimes I wouldn't know, so I'm like, let me go ask. You know.
Certainly. Yo, YouTubes, stay tuned for part 3, ILS. I'll be back for part 2 or part 3. We're gonna be at the meat aisle for the next video. Stay tuned.